Hello, everyone. Welcome from Story for Life.
Today, we journey to ancient Japan to hear a classic tale of kindness, greed, and a very special little bird.
Long, long ago, there lived an old man and his wife. The old man was a soul of pure gold, hardworking and kind. But his wife, she was a crosspatch, a woman whose tongue was as sharp as a thorn, always scolding and grumbling from sunrise to sunset.
The old man had no children, so he poured all his love into a tiny pet sparrow. He taught her tricks, shared his meals, and let her fly freely. She was his only joy in a home filled with his wife's bitter words.
One day, while the old man was away cutting wood, the old woman prepared some starch for her laundry. In a moment of hunger, the little sparrow ate the starch, thinking it was food.
When the old woman found the bowl empty, she was furious. The honest bird bowed her head and chirped, "It was I who ate it. Please forgive me." But the woman had no mercy. In a fit of rage, she seized the bird and with a pair of sharp scissors cut off the poor bird's tongue.
"Now you'll never taste my starch again," she shrieked, as the bleeding bird flew away into the bamboo forest.
When the old man returned, his heart broke. He didn't punish his wife, he was too kind for that, but he couldn't sleep. The next morning, he set off into the hills, calling out, "Where, oh where does my tongue-cut sparrow stay?"
After hours of searching, he reached a thick bamboo growth. To his amazement, his dear sparrow was there to greet him. Not only was she alive, but her tongue had miraculously grown back. She wasn't just a bird, she was a sparrow fairy.
She led the old man to a magnificent palace made of white wood and silk mats. They feasted on delicious food, and the sparrow's daughters performed the sparrow's dance. As night fell, the sparrow offered him a parting gift.
She brought out 2 boxes, one large and heavy, the other small and light. "I am old and feeble," the man said humbly. "I will take the small one. It is easier for me to carry." When he reached home and opened the small box with his wife, they gasped. It was filled to the brim with gold, silver, and precious jewels. They were rich beyond their wildest dreams.
But the wife's greed was a bottomless pit. "You old fool," she screamed. "If the small box had this much treasure, imagine what was in the large one." The very next morning, she stormed into the bamboo grove. She didn't bow, she didn't thank the sparrow, she simply demanded, "Give me the big box."
The sparrow agreed. The old woman hoisted the heavy crate onto her back and hurried away. She couldn't even wait to get home. Along the road, she heaved the box down and pried open the lid.
Instead of gold, the box erupted with nightmares. One-eyed demons, hissing snakes, and giant frogs leapt out to devour her. The woman screamed and ran for her life, leaving her greed in the dirt.
She reached home trembling and told her husband everything. The old man looked at her sadly and said, "Do not blame the sparrow. It is your own wickedness that has met its reward."
From that day on, the old woman changed her ways. She dropped her scolding tongue and lived her remaining days in peace and kindness alongside her husband.
This has been the story of the tongue-cut sparrow. Remember, a kind heart carries a light load, but greed is a weight that eventually breaks us. This story shares some valuable lessons for our lives.
1. The power of kindness. The old man possessed a heart of gold, showing compassion to all creatures, even those who mistreated him. His kindness was not a weakness, but a strength that guided him to unexpected blessings and the protection of the sparrow fairy. As we've seen, a kind heart carries a light load, making life's journey peaceful and rewarding.
Number 2. The weight of greed. The old woman's story serves as a stark warning about the dangers of an insatiable heart. Her desire for more led her to cruelty and eventually into the path of terrifying demons.
Remember that greed is a weight that eventually breaks us, turning what we think is a treasure into our own destruction.
3. The Law of Harvest. This tale reminds us that our actions, whether good or bad, eventually find their way back to us. The old man's gentleness brought him riches, while the woman's malice brought her terror. In the end, the seeds of kindness or greed we sow today will determine the harvest of peace or pain we reap tomorrow.
Thank you so much for listening to this life lesson story. May you all lead a wonderful and meaningful life.
Please show your support by liking and subscribing to our channel. See you all in the next story.